Two new shows coming this fall here at Wize Sports Betting. What's up, family? And thank you for watching Betting 101. This is Don't Touch Another Quarterback Prop Until You Know These 7 Keys. Before you touch another quarterback prop, chill for a second. Most people chase names, but smart players chase patterns. Get your notebooks ready. This is a real lesson. I got 7 keys for you today, all right? These 7 keys I'm about to show you, you can look them up all for free on ESPN. You can go to ESPN.com and click NFL or download their ESPN app. It's also free. It only takes about 20 or 30 minutes to check 5 or 6 quarterbacks. And when you do, you'll stop guessing and start reading games the smart way. The more you do this, the quicker you'll get. All right, key number 1, wins and records context. Don't just look at a team's record, look at who they beat. A 3-2 that barely got by the Panthers and Giants ain't stronger than a 2-3 team that lost close to the Chiefs and 49ers. On ESPN, go to schedule, then look at results. You'll see the teams and scores. Write down each opponent's record next to it. Then note the SOS, that's strength of schedule, and their last 3-game record. That gives you context. Fake wins versus real tests. And here's how you find that SOS/strength of schedule. On ESPN, go to the team page, hit schedule, look at the opponents they faced. Next to each matchup, you'll see the opponent's record. For example, it'll say 2-3 or 4-1. Add those up from the last 3 games, and you'll get a quick strength snapshot. If they've been facing 4-1 and 3-2 teams, that's a strong SOS. But if it's all 1-4 or 2-3 squads, that record's padded. I usually just add the last 3 and jot it down. So write this down. SOS, last 3. 8-7 opponent total is solid. SOS, last 3. 4-11 opponent total is weak. And I'm using this for current right now, all right? That quick note tells you right away if a quarterback's numbers are inflated or earned. Key number 2, quarterback edge. This is the brains of the operation. This is where the matchup really starts. Compare the 2 quarterbacks on ESPN under the stats tab. You're going to check 5 things. Go to teams, select teams, hit stats, scroll down to player, then hit statistics, and under offense, make sure you're under offense, hit passing. You'll see a quarterback list. And some of these guys are backups or guys with a few throws. So scroll over to QBR. That means quarterback rating on ESPN. It goes from 0 to 100. It measures total impact, including rushing, sacks, and game situations. 60 plus means solid. 75 plus means elite. So if one quarterback's in the 70s QBR and the other's in the 40s, you already know who's got the edge. QBR shows total impact. Scroll over and compare. 2, you're going to look at the passer rating. It shows throwing efficiency. I almost want to grab this football sitting right here. It shows throwing efficiency. It'll say RTG on some places, or sometimes it's just rate. And I think inside of ESPN, I looked at it a billion times, I think it says rate. It goes from 0 to 158 and only measures passing efficiency. Just so you know, anything 95 or better means efficient. 3, look at TD-INT ratio. All right? I shouldn't say dash. Look at TD. And look at INT ratio. That dash is for me. That's touchdowns and interceptions, okay? These are the first 2 stats in the quarterback section, and they sit right next to each other. That's what I like about them, because it's not hard to figure out the ratio. You can just look next to each other. Look at the ratio, all right? If it's 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, it means he's protecting the ball. But if it's 6 and 6, that means chaos. Number 4, look at completion percentage. It'll say CMP with a percentage sign behind it. It tells how often the quarterback connects. Above 65% is solid. Below 60 is shaky. Number 5, look at sacks taken / the pressure rate. It will say sack or SCK or sack percentage. I think that's what I think in inside of ESPN, if I remember right, it just says sack. But you want to favor the quarterback with the less sacks. If they both have the same amount of sacks, which is rare, or if they're really close and it's hard for you to decide which is which, and you really want to check, then check how strong their O-lines are. And an O-line is an offensive line, in case you didn't know. And that's really rare, but check how strong their O-lines are. All right? Look at sack for protection and switch for passing to rushing. Look for average. It's going to say AVG, or either it'll say YDS/C. That's yards per carry. Now, this is very important. Do not confuse it with yards, YDS, or YDS/G. And that's going to be under passing. Those are just totals per game passing yards, okay? Make sure you're under rushing. That AVG/average, also known as YDS/C, yards per carry, tells you if the O-lines are actually opening lanes. That's what you're looking for. And don't do like I used to do. Don't assume the quarterback with the most rushing yards is better. Because I found out the hard way, sometimes he's running because he's explosive, and that's good. But sometimes he's just running for his life, and that's not good. That's bad. You're not here to crown the better quarterback. You're looking at context. You're looking to see how the quarterback handles pressure. A quarterback with more rushing yards usually means that they move the pocket and keep plays alive. And if they got low rushing yard, he relies more on his line and quick reads. So jot this down. This is a tip that I like. More rushing yards equal mobility advantage. Fewer rushing yards equal pocket style quarterback who needs protection. And you want to lean towards the quarterback who has the mobility advantage. Here's another rule I like. Better QB plus protection equals edge. Okay, I don't want to move too fast, but you can always pause the video, so I'm going to keep it pushing. Number 3. This is the key number 3. Offensive line plus run game. You're just basically asking, can they protect and move the ball? Some of these player performances naturally overlap what you checked in other stats, just so in case you didn't know. So we're going to look for a few things here, too. We're going to look at 1, sacks allowed. Okay, and this is under team stats. You're going to look at number 2, YPC, yards per carry, or average. I think in ESPN it just says AVG or average. And it's under rushing. 4.5 plus is good. Number 3, look at third down conversion percentage. It'll say 3D percentage. Go to the team, look under stats, and then scroll. You got to go down. I think it's under first down. All right? Get my page here. And I also like to look at fumbles too. Everybody doesn't do that, but I also like to check fumbles since I'm in that miscellaneous team section stats, all right? You want the team with a higher third down conversion percentage. That means they sustain drives and the line holds up. And defensively, the lower opponent's third down percentage, the stronger that defense gets stops. AKA the more likely he is to stop it. Those 3D percentage numbers sit side by side. It will show you the team, then opponent next to it, okay? Don't confuse the 3D percentage with the third down efficiency. That's just the play-by-play numbers of how the team did in individual games. It's basically a game-by-game stat. You're looking at 3D percentage. It's the season average. That one tells you how consistent they really are. And please note, the O-line tells you how safe a quarterback prop is. And here's a tip that I like. Here's a tip you could jot down if you want to. Bad O-line plus road game equals fade the risk. All right? Key number 4. Excuse me. Defensive matchup. Now here's where we flip the script. Okay, let's flip it. Check what the opponent's defense allows. This tells you what kind of fight that your quarterback is actually walking into. So at again at ESPN, we're checking 6 things. And these are found under opposing teams. Defensive stats, under rushing. Okay, so you're going to go to the team that you're looking at. You're going to go to their defensive stats, and you're going to look under rushing. Number 1, we check rushing yards allowed per game. It'll either say RYA/G. And on ESPN, it's found under opposing teams, defensive stats, and then look under rushing. It shows how well they stop the run, basically, and lower equals tougher run defense. Number 2, passing yards allowed per game. It'll either say PYA/G, and I think on ESPN it's found under opponent's defensive stats. You're gonna look at the team, opponent's defensive, defensive, and then look under passing. Make sure you're under passing. It measures how tight the coverage is, and lower equals better secondary. Okay. Number 3, turnovers forced. Sometimes in some apps or websites it'll say TO. You're also going to look at interceptions and fumbles. Some places interception, and I think that's true for ESPN. Interceptions is just going to say INT. Fumbles are FUM or either FF. Sometimes it's listed under takeaways or turnover forced. And when it does say takeaways or turnover forced, that usually means that they're adding the fumbles and interceptions recovered. But at ESPN, look under teams, then click turnovers, and it shows interceptions, INT, FUM for fumbles. And it shows the takeaways and giveaways. Higher numbers equal more aggressive ball hawking defense, okay? Number 4, points allowed per game. It's going to say PTS/G in a lot of places. On ESPN, it's found under teams, defense, and make sure you're not under offense, because under offense, it means points scored. Under defense, PTS/G means points allowed per game, what the defense gives up. And the lower that number is, the tighter that defense is. So check to see which team has the lower number, because that tells you who is better at keeping opponents off the scoreboard. Lower points per game allowed usually means fewer scoring chances for your quarterback. And here's a rule of thumb. Lower PTS/G equals tougher defense. Higher PTS/G equals easier matchup. Okay, so look at those points per game. Number 5. Opponent third down percentage. It'll say, in ESPN, it says, I think that's ESPN. That might be teamrankings.com. Look at opponent third down percentage. It'll say OPP3D with a percentage sign. Yeah, and on ESPN, it's found under defensive miscellaneous stat for that team specifically. So you got to go to the team, hit stats, then team, and on ESPN you'll see team statistics, and then look at third down percentage, and it's going to be under first downs. In the far left column you'll see OPP, that's opponents. That tells you how much they stop opponents. The lower that number is, the more the team stops its opponent, basically. And if it's high, it's a struggling defense. So you're going to compare the numbers to your quarterback's team. Number 6, red zone TD percentage allowed. Sometimes it says RZTD percentage. RZTD percentage. But I go to teamrankings.com. All right? Go to teamrankings.com for this. You click NFL teams, click stats for the team you want, and it'll show OPP/RZ scoring percentage. It means opponent red zone scoring. It shows how often defense gives up points inside the 20, basically. And the lower it is, the tougher they are near the goal line. So you want to compare the numbers between the two teams. Key number 5, let's keep it pushing. Home and away splits, plus the travel factor. All right, you could also say plus the travel factor. Now, just so you know, some quarterbacks are beasts at home and ghosts on the road. So look at the quarterback stats. And at ESPN, click splits. You want to click on the individual quarterback to get this. You got to go to the quarterback stat at ESPN and then click splits. It'll show you how he does away and at home in weather plus 81 degrees. It'll show you what days he's good at on, whether he was outdoors and what opponent he was facing. It's truly a gem of info. So compare the two quarterbacks, all right? Key number 6, momentum and injuries. Who's trending up? Who's banged up? You can find injury reports at ESPN, and it's usually under team info. You can find injuries there, or you could just go to NFL.com. Look for skilled players. Wide receivers, it'll say WR. Running backs, that's RB. Tight ends, that's TE. And then also look for defensive studs. Cornerbacks, that's CB. Linebackers, that's LB. Edge, or it'll say edge rusher. And safety. If defense loses a pass rusher or safety, then the overs become easier. Always check these injuries, by the way, on Friday or the morning of the game. Now, if you're new to football, you might want to jot this down. Let me slow it down just a tad. I would write down defensive positions when checking injuries or something like that. Defensive positions when I'm checking injuries. CB/cornerback covers receivers. They are key for pass defense. LB/linebacker, middle of the defense. They stop runs and they cover short passes. Edge/edge rusher. Now he's a hybrid between defensive end and OLB, which means outside linebacker. Their job is pressure, sacks, and quarterback hits. And then S/safety. They are the last line of defense. They stop deep passes or big runs. So pay attention to defensive injuries. CBs and safeties hurt your pass defense. LBs and edge rushers hurt your pass rush and run stops. And here's a quick rule. CB/S equal coverage. LB/edge equal pressure. And also note that some teams use edge and OLB almost interchangeably nowadays, all right? Especially in 3-4 defense. That OLB, that outside linebacker, sometimes they rush. Sometimes they drop into coverage. So in a 3-4 defense, that's usually your edge rusher, the one coming for the quarterbacker, all right? So keep an eye out for those injuries. Here's the last key, y'all. Key number 7, market behavior. You want to read the movement. Even if you're not betting, watch the line move. It teaches you how the market feels. That's how I learned. I just would watch the lines, even on when I wasn't playing. And you can check this for free at Action Network, I think. It's still free. Covers.com, Vegas Insider, and you can even go to DraftKings and check to see how the line moved, all right? Look at how the line opened versus now. If the public's heavy on one side, but the line moves the other way, that's called reverse line movement. I think we talked about it in other videos. For example, if 80% of the picks on Team A are at -3, but then the line drops to -2.5, this means the books are protecting sharp money. And when that happens, that's definitely a trap line alert, okay? So here's your formula that you will ultimately use to cover it all. Best QB equals QB edge plus defensive advantage plus line value. When you use these 7 keys, you're not gambling. You're decoding performance, basically. And this is how sharp minds think. So it's not about luck. This is about logic, okay? And the more you get used to pulling these performance numbers, the faster you'll get at pulling them. At first, it would take me an hour to look up 4 or 5, teams and quarterbacks and stuff. Now I can do it in minutes, okay? You'll get faster, okay? So if you want to bet quarterback player props, study this video. Now go pull up ESPN, teamrankings.com or NFL.com, especially ESPN. That's my golden ticket, all right? It takes about 30 minutes. Jot down 5 or 6 quarterbacks. And then the next time you click over or under, it will actually make sense, okay? This was Betting 101. Don't touch another quarterback prop until you know these 7 keys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with one of your football friends if you found it interesting or entertaining in any way. And remember, bet wise and never risk more than you can afford to lose, all right? Thanks for watching, y'all. See you on the next one.